Hi, Ray here in Hawaii with another real-life Hawaii. Today we're going to have 10 more miser measures. Yeah, tips to help you save money and save time and do things more efficiently. So 10 of them, here they come. Let's get going. If you're like me, you use these Scotchbrite heavy-duty scouring pads. They're wonderful for cleaning burned food off frying pans. But you don't need to use this whole great big thing. You can cut it out. Cut out a little corner and just use a smaller one. And the package will last about 8 times longer. So there you go. Let's see how it works. It does an absolutely wonderful job of scouring that frying pan. And you don't need a 4x4 size. Just a 1.5 by 1.5 will do. Saves money and time. Tip number 2, save money on pickled beets. This is a jar of pickled beets. There are no more beets inside the jar, only the wonderful pickle juice, the pickle sauce. Why throw it out? What we do, we take a can of regular beets, not pickled. These are whole beets, all I could find in the store today. Let's open the can. And what we're going to do is take these beets, which are not pickled, and put them in the pickle juice. I hope there's enough room. These beets are a little bigger than the sliced beets. Let's pop them in here. After a day or two in the refrigerator, these become just as tasty as the store-bought pickled beets. And of course, regular beets are less expensive than pickled beets. You can do this about, well, I would say 1 time. 2 times maybe. Now these whole beets are a little bit larger, so we've got some left in the can, but that's okay. We'll just put those in the fridge in a container and eat them plain. Put the lid on, pop them in the refrigerator, and you have pickled beets. Here is miser measure number 3. Some of the gadgets, as seen on TV, just do not work. But we have one today that really does work. It's this little microwave potato cooker. Very cool gadget. It's made of heavy porcelain, has a little rubber bottom, and a rubber seal around the lid with an air hole. We're going to make potatoes in 2.5 minutes, if you can believe it. Well, maybe 3.5 if you count the peeling time. First thing you do is peel the potato, and that's pretty easy. I always peel potatoes by doing each end first. Get all the peels off the end, take off any little brown spots that may be there. That'll do the other end. You can peel a potato in 30 seconds. Much better and much easier than instant potatoes. Okay, now that the ends are done, let's do the interior part of the potato. See how the action, I'm using on the potato peeler? It's kind of a stab it, you know. You don't do it very slowly, you jab at it. And there it is, a nice clean peeled, but whoops, we got a little speck on the bottom here, get rid of that. Okay, wash it off. We'll get rid of those peelings in a minute. Over here we have our cutting board. Now you can either cut the potatoes into strips, or you can make sliced potatoes. Sliced potatoes work a little better, especially if you want to fry them the next morning. Just slice them and dice them. Try not to cut your finger. Now we'll microwave these for 2.5 minutes. All right, pop them in our little gadget here. Take the lid off and pop them in. Now potatoes need quite a bit of salt, so shake a bit of salt in there on the top. And also a little pepper. If I can find the pepper. Here it is. If I can get it open. Okay, a little bit of pepper. Now also, go to the fridge and get the butter. And you want to put a little sliver of butter in the top. Slice it off here. And pop it in. Just on, let's do 2 of them. Slice off a little bit of butter and put it right on the top. Everything's better with butter. Now we're going to microwave this for 2.5 minutes. We put the lid on, pop it in the microwave, and set it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds on high. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're done. Now this thing is going to be very hot, so grab a dish towel if you can find one. Here it is, clear across the kitchen. Take it out of the microwave. It doesn't hurt to let it sit for a few minutes either. Pop the lid off and you'll see it's steaming. After you cook them, take a fork and just mix them up a little bit. Get some of that butter all mixed through the potatoes. Now these are fork tender. They're perfectly cooked in just 2.5 minutes. If you can see them there. Of course, the proof is in the tasting. It's a good idea to let them cool down a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. There it is, perfectly cooked, and it's just waiting to be thrown in a frying pan in the morning with some bacon and eggs, and it will be delicious. But actually it tastes pretty good just the way it is. Could use just a little more salt. And by the way, if they're not cooked enough, pop them in the oven, microwave oven, for another 30 seconds. They'll be perfect. The leftover potatoes can be put in these little KFC dishes, the kind you get your coleslaw and potatoes, mashed potatoes in from KFC. Just dump them right in. And they're all ready for another meal, either tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. Pop them in the refrigerator. What could be easier, I say? Well, perhaps cleanup could be easier. Cleanup. Just take some of the dish soap that we made in a previous edition of Miser Measures, and it just cleans up very easily. Take the little rubber foot off the bottom of the jar and take the gasket off of the lid. Just quickly wash them up. Now they're ready to dry. I found one of the tricks to doing dishes is to make sure the dishes are hot when you dry them. Run them under the hot water and they just dry very easily. Something to do with the molecule expansion, I would imagine, that makes the dish more susceptible to drying. Take the little rubber gadget, the little rubber foot, dry it off, the rubber gasket, pat it dry, and the lid. There you go. Then you put the gasket back on the lid, very easy. Put the lid on, put the rubber foot back on, And bingo, it's ready to go for another meal, another day. Well, that's tip number 3, another miser measure. Our next miser measure deals with your kitchen disposal unit. You've probably put all sorts of things in there you shouldn't. Big chunks of meat, maybe a turkey carcass, or potato peelings. This can lead to a broken disposal or nasty odors coming out of the disposal. A quick way to fix it is to do this. Just grab some ice cubes out of the refrigerator, maybe 3 or 4, and toss them down the drain one at a time while the disposal is running. 1. Listen to that thing get cleaned. 2. Oh, you can just see those blades shining now with all the ice taking the gunk off. And then run a little bit of cold water through it for a few seconds. Bingo, you have a nice, clean disposal unit. If you're living alone, as I am, you probably let a lot of food go to waste. Like spaghetti sauce, for example. You'll notice that this jar is about empty, and that's because I have a neat technique for saving it. What you do is you put it in these individual KFC packets, good for 1 serving at a time, and put it in the freezer. Do it right now. These are the perfect size for 1 serving. Just pop it in there. It takes about 4 tablespoons, I would say, 3 tablespoons, depending on how much sauce you like. And then what you do, you take this out of the freezer, and it's frozen, put it in the microwave for about a minute, and then put it in a small pot. Get it out without dropping everything on the floor. This is the size that I use. And you put the sauce in there, heat it up, and then you cook your spaghetti in another pot. When the spaghetti's done, dump it in here, mix it up, and then pop it on a plate and you're all ready to eat. It's a quick meal and it saves throwing this out. If you're like me, you leave it in the refrigerator for a month and it gets all moldy. But if you put it in individual serving dishes like these and freeze it, then it's just as fresh as the day you bought it. Miser measure number 5 is in the can. If you live in a humid climate like Hawaii has, your vacuum cleaner can start smelling pretty musty after a few uses. Well, there's a quick and easy and inexpensive way to fix that. Just flip the vacuum over. Well, first you're going to have to plug it in. Plug that baby in. This one has a very long cord, which would be good if you're cleaning a high school carpet or something, but not necessary with an apartment. Plug it in and flip it over, like so. Next, you grab some Clorox bleach. Actually, this is bleach-free. It's sort of a sanitizer and has a very nice smell to it. Turn on the vacuum with the little plate here. Let it run for for a few seconds. And you have a sweet smelling vacuum cleaner. It's a good idea to wipe off the chrome here around the blade, around the beater brush. You don't want that to rust. You want it to be nice and smooth and clean and dry. So let's get vacuuming here. Miser measure number 7, I learned while living in Riverside, California. I rented an apartment right next to the University of California at Riverside, and the gentleman, the landlord, showed me how he cleaned the bathroom. And it was an easy trick, but it made the bathroom shine. First of all, clear all the junk off of the marble. And the trick is to use this stuff. After you wash down the sink real good in the marble, just spray on some Pledge, or this is not Pledge, this is Favor. Just spray a little bit on it, spray it in the sink and onto the faucets, and then just wipe it down. And trust me, it will make your bathroom glisten. I'm not sure you can see it on camera, but it is sparkling now. And the more you wipe it and rub it, the more sparkling it becomes. Now you think I'm going to make you sit there and watch me do the whole thing. Well, I'm going to use our time machine and show you what it looks like when it's finished. Isn't that a beautiful job? So what you do is just wash down your countertop and then wax it with Favor or Pledge. It's no fun laying awake at night because your apartment is way too hot and humid. And it's no fun opening up your wallet and forking out a lot of money for those central air conditioning bills. Miser measure number 8 will show you how to use your central air and save money. Don't turn on your central air conditioning until about an hour before you go to bed. Then, just as you hop in bed, turn off the air conditioning. Since the sun has gone down, the room won't reheat, and you'll be asleep before it gets warm again. And you'll save lots of money on your central air conditioning system. You'll be sleeping like a baby and dreaming of $100 bills. Hi, Ray, once again. I need a haircut badly, I realize. My barber shop is closed with the coronavirus problem. Anyway, today I'm going to show you how to clean your iPhone. very easily, and it involves alcohol. No, we don't want you to get drunk to do it. We're going to be using isopropyl alcohol. Looks like this. Don't drink it. It's for external use only. So let's get going cleaning our phone with alcohol. It's a very simple procedure. Just grab a couple of Kleenex and some isopropyl alcohol. Moisten the Kleenex, of course, and then you can just start cleaning the screen. The nice thing about using alcohol is it dries fast. Now, don't be afraid to do the reverse side of the iPhone, the case, because that is usually the dirtiest. Also, get the camera lens. You want some real nice, a real nice clean camera lens, and it kills all the bacteria. And that's it. A clean iPhone. Miser measure number 10 also involves isopropyl alcohol. You probably have labeled a CD or a DVD and made a mistake on it. You misspelled a word or put the wrong thing, called it a CD instead of a DVD. Well, it's very easy to remove that magic marker. Just take your isopropyl alcohol, take a piece of tissue, and it will come right off. The magic of rubbing alcohol. Look at that, it's off immediately. Just as good as new. And you may think, well, water will do the same thing. Well, just to show you that isn't true, let's write something back on the CD here. And then we'll go to the sink and moisten a piece of Kleenex. Grab a Kleenex, run in here to the sink in the kitchen. Okay, it's moistened with water. Let's see if it'll take this off. You see? It's still there. Doesn't work. Now, let's moisten that same towel with a bit of rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Careful not to tip it over and set your house on fire. Okay, we've got the alcohol on the Kleenex, and there she goes. Beautiful. So, one of the magic uses of isopropyl alcohol. Do not drink it. It's poison. Well, that's Miser measure number 10, and that concludes this edition of Real Life Hawaii. Thanks a heck of a lot for watching. Tune in again, and don't forget to subscribe. Aloha!